Hey everybody. I hope you guys are doing amazing. That all is well. Um I just had a really huge moment of revelation, and I wanted to get this video in really quickly before I go and do my best friend's hair. So, let's jump into it, right? I want you to consider if I want you to consider if you are in search of other people's approval of the things that you want to do in your life, the decisions that you make, the way you live your life. Are you still seeking that approval? And really sit in that and be honest with yourself. Because I had to sit in that. Like, you already know, I'm always sitting in some shit. I had to sit in that because I wanted to for those of you that have been watching my videos, in a previous video, I disclosed how I have always had issues sleeping. And so that has been one of the things that I have been working with spirit on, and I've been really healing. And it's been a struggle. But I'm so committed to this because, like I said, this has affected me my entire life, way back to my childhood. And the reason why I said, I want you to consider if you are asking for other people's approval, or if other people's approval is hindering you from moving forward with the things that your spirit, your soul, your intuition is calling you to do. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I also shared with you guys how last month I went to a cacao ceremony, and just, developing my spirituality and continuing on my journey, I have heard about this, form of plant medicine and the benefits of it. And, before I do any damn thing, I got to go research again and sit with spirit and make sure this is something that my soul is supposed to experience in this lifetime. And so it was, and I was excited about that. And when I went to the ceremony, my sole intention it was for it to open up my heart more and for it to connect me even further into my divine feminine energy. And in doing so, like, it was an amazing experience. It definitely was. But of course, with anything for me, plant-based wise, it's never right in the moment that the aha moments happen. It's always the after effect. It's, post. And I love that because I'm able to put it together like it's a puzzle and see. It don't always fucking feel comfortable. I'm gonna say that shit again. It does not always feel comfortable, but I it's almost like if you know that the ultimate goal, right? And the outcome of this situation is always going to be a success. It's always going to benefit you, and it's going to teach you more about yourself and about life and the journey and how you can use it to your benefit. Then it's worth it. Even though it's going to be discomfort, and even though you may want to tap the hell out and be like, get me the fuck off this ride. Like, I am done with this, right? Even if. But that you're going to get through it. So I'm one of them type of people that I rip the fucking Band-Aid off. Doubts and all, fear and all, naysayers and all. I'm pretty sure most people think I'm crazy. But ask me, do I care? I don't. I stopped caring a long time ago because I always knew that I was different, and everybody is different. I just choose to really embrace who I am and who I am now discovering I am. And so when I went to the cacao ceremony, it wasn't really like it was anything I needed to disclose. But if it came up, it came up. I do these things solo dolo for the most part, because it's genuinely what I'm interested in. And so I'm the type of person that believe that there's nothing that you are experiencing and that you're going through that you don't want to be experiencing anymore, whether it's mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever, right? That you can't shift the energy into your into your best interest, to your favor. Hear me again. I believe that there is nothing in this physical world, this human experience that we are dealing with, that we are living in that will hinder you, stop you, if you don't believe that it can, if you don't believe that it is. The things that happen to us and the things that we experience, whether it's physical, mentally, or spiritually, it's perspective. If you don't like it, change it. If you don't want it, drop it. But you also got to learn how to fucking do that for each individual thing, because it's not the same. It's not always a cookie cutter, formula to get over it, because it is designed for your individual experience. So although you can be inspired and admire somebody else's journey, understand, number one, that the way that they may have been able to get past their issues or whatever you want to call them doesn't mean that that's what's going to work for you. So don't be afraid to embrace the things that you need to do that's on your heart, that maybe no one will understand why you're doing them. Embrace them. That is what I did with cacao. That's what I do with any fucking thing in my life. But we're talking about this storyline right here because this is the revelation that I just got. And I want you to see how the puzzle is coming together. So the aftermath, I'm still sitting in that, because I set the intention for me to open up my heart more, because when you open up your heart more, you shatter those parts of your ego that's trying to stop you from learning that truth that you've been seeking. And the truth that I've been seeking was, when is the next step going to be for me to put my plans in motion that I've been working on, and healing sleep. Like, those have been my main two intentions that I've been working with spirit on. And so I told you that I've been battling seasonal depression. It has gotten a lot better since the weather has improved. It's just really when it's too cold, and I'm somebody who would get lost in my head if I'm not doing the things that work for me, which is moving my fucking body, whether it's dancing, it's walking, it's hiking, now working out on this stepper machine. That's really been helping me. But I have to do something that allows the energy to flow. If I don't do that, I will feel stagnant. And sometimes that heightens for me in cold weather, because I don't feel like doing much, because you just want to be cuddled up. But you can't be too cuddled up and doing nothing all the time. Yeah, there's rest, but there's also work, and you do have to balance out this vessel that we're using. But yeah. So I had planned a trip to go back home for my father's 65th birthday, and I really wanted to celebrate his birthday with him. So that was the only thing that he wanted for his birthday. And I was like, all right, cool. Went and surprised him for that, and just wanted to be present. I didn't bring any work with me, because I will always think of a fucking plan. I always got an idea in my damn mind. I didn't focus on any of that. I simply just wanted to be, because when you open up your heart, you want to be in a space to receive. And when I'm in a space to receive, I need to just be present. And I need to make sure that I'm enforcing my boundaries, but I'm very, very careful of what energy I am around and what energy I am allowing, to stay inside of my body, because as an empath, you soak up the energy that's around you, but you have to cleanse that shit out, but also be able to decipher between what is yours and what is not. And so as I've gotten better with my balance, I understand what works for me, especially when I'm going home. Is always, when I go home, I used to think that I was triggered, but it wasn't always necessarily that I was triggered, because I now look at it as I'm enlightened every time I go home. Before, I didn't want to, because of course it's out of my element. I don't live the certain lifestyles of some of my family members. I'm not into some of the same things, and that's fine. That's okay. But anything that takes you outside of your regular comfort for a certain amount of time will start to impact your energy. And so for me, I go with all my tools that I need in order for me to feel grounded and centered. But I realized, because it was so fucking cold in Philly, except for the last day when I was getting the fuck up out of there, that I didn't go for a walk. I didn't get outside as much. I was just really kicking it with my family and just, creating memories and laughing. but that's not normal for me that I do in my daily life. Like in my daily life, I'm active. I have to stay active. I go out into nature. Like that is something that is very important for me and my soul. So whenever I don't do these things for an extended period of time, I feel the effects. And so I knew that was going to be an effect on me. But that's also why I told you I come prepared, and I'm very strategic with how long I spend outside of my element, depending on whatever it is that I'm working on. So for this trip, it was like, I think I stayed for 5 or 6 days, something like that. So I knew I would be good. But when I came back, I started to feel all of the energy that I collected. And so I had to go and cleanse that shit up off me. And the only way to really properly do that for me is in nature. So I went for a walk yesterday. And when I went for that walk, it was just, it was just the best thing. Like, I know people be thinking that I'm crazy as shit because I really be in there just dancing in the fucking woods. Like, however I feel is what I'm about to go and damn do. And I don't care anymore. Like, I really don't care anymore. So when I was just dancing and I had asked Spirit a specific question because I didn't feel my best, I just was like, I knew I was stagnant. I knew I had a whole bunch of stagnant ass energy. And that shit was just really frustrating me, bothering me. But I knew what I needed to go and do. And so I went and I did that. And as I did that, I set my, before I do any bucket thing, I'm going to set some intentions. Because I am very intentional in life. Use it to your advantage. Believe it. Say it. It is yours. Like, okay? Trust the path. That is what I have been doing. And so on the days that they get rough, like it was the day before yesterday, that is why yesterday I had to go for this walk. And when I went for my walk, and I even was jogging for a little bit, but that was too much. So I had to go back, go back to my walk. You gotta take it easy. But when I went for the walk, I asked Spirit for a sign on a particular project that I was working on. And if it was time for me to continue picking back up work. And, I'm laughing, y'all, because this shit blew my mind. It really blew my mind because I always have faith. And I'm very 10 toes the fuck down in my spirituality. But I am also equally going to test the limits. And I'm always going to come into it sometimes with a skeptical mind because I be wanting to prove myself wrong, and I do it every fucking time. I be like, this shit is not about to happen, and it does. Or I'm not going to get this, and I do. Like, it is just to say, like, all right, Spirit, but I make sure that I believe that it's going to happen so that I'm not confusing the universe, but I'm also testing the universe, if that makes sense. Because you need to. How else are you going to know that it's going to work? How many times did you say something wasn't going to work and it actually does? You didn't, but deep down, your subconscious believed it. It knew it already happened in a different timeline. You just needed to match that energy. But you also had doubt. You also may have been afraid. You may have had concerns. You can have all of those things and sit in those emotions and feel it, all of them. But that doesn't mean it's going to stop that blessing from coming, because what is yours won't miss you. You see what I'm saying? So while I was out there, right, I only in this particular park do I ever see this blue jay bird and this red, bright ass red canary bird. Those are the only two parks. And I told y'all the last time, or maybe I didn't, but yeah, I think I did. Whatever, doesn't matter. So as I seen those two birds, because after I set my intention, if I'm asking for a specific sign while I'm out in nature, I will look around me to see what I can see. And I will say something specific, or I will just tell them to give me a sign if I don't feel like doing that. But today I felt like doing that. So as I seen those two birds, I said, all right, because where I see them is always at the entrance of the park. I only see the red bird maybe halfway through the trail, but I never ever seen the bluebird ever on the fucking trail at all. So I told Spirit, I said, all right, if I'm supposed to launch this and continue and start working right now, to get this thing going, please have the bluebird pass across me. Like, it needs to go across me vertically. That's vertically? No, horizontally. It needs to go across me. So as I walk and I'm dancing, I'm just vibing, right? I didn't get the sign. I'm not seeing it. And I did 3 laps around the trail. So as I'm walking back to the car, I'm about 15, 20 feet from the car. And the bluebird shot right across my ass and kept on going. And I just had to bust out smiling and laughing and just thanking spirit, like, because I needed that sign. I needed that sign. I needed to be proven wrong in that fucking moment. I needed my faith to win, like it fucking wins every damn time that I doubt my purpose, or I doubt my path, or I doubt, living my life to the best of my ability that makes me happy, that may mean that people are going to drop off, that may mean that I'm going to have to start moving differently, that means that I am giving myself all the fucking love that I have ever been out here searching for when it was already the hell inside of me. I needed that fucking moment. That shit lit a fire under my ass, but the story is not done. When I drove home, right, I was like, all right, let me call my mom. I always talk to my parents. So I'm like, let me call my mom. And I was talking to her and my brother, and I was just, sharing with her, just catching up with her or whatever. And somehow, some way, because the night before, that's also why I went for the walk, because the night before I didn't sleep. Like, no, I did not sleep. I don't know what the fuck took place, but I just could not sleep. But I didn't feel as frustrated as I normally did on the nights that I can't sleep. I just kind of embraced it. I watched some TV. I read some books. Well, I read my book, and but I wasn't in the mood. I lit I lit the mood. I set the energy and I cleansed the space, but I wasn't in the mood to meditate. I wasn't in the mood to do anything like that. I just sat, and I just let it be. And then like around 6:30, 7 o'clock, I did sleep for maybe like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. And I got up, started my day. And I'm like, no, I'm going to the park. Okay. I'm going to the park. And when I was talking to my mom, I was, telling her like, damn, I didn't sleep. And she was telling me like she wasn't sleeping good at all either. And I asked her, I'm like, do you remember like when that really started for me? Because I know that it started in my childhood. And she was like, I don't remember the specific time, but maybe it is related to what happened to you. And for those of you who don't know, like many of us, I was molested. And as I sat in that, it's just, the truth of it just really touched my soul. And I said, that makes so much fucking sense. That makes so much sense as to why I've been a night owl, as to why I didn't know, but subconsciously I didn't feel safe at night, because that is typically when it would happen for me, or when it did happen to me in my childhood. And from that moment, I do believe that is when my sleep issues began, and when I stopped feeling safe, as if I would be touched or I would be interrupted or disturbed. I didn't know that. I just thought that maybe I just didn't have the same sleep patterns as everybody else, but that has been living stagnant in me. Even after I forgave this person, I have no animosity towards this person and what they did for me. But that shit rang so true in my soul, in my core, that it just blew my mind. It just blew my mind. And it gave me so much hope as to where that root cause started. And so now I'm able to cut that cord. And I know that it may still take me some time, because honest and truly, with everything that I've been going through and living in my life, even after I forgave this person, I thought that was finished. I didn't even know that this stagnant energy was left in me. And if I didn't go home to be in that familiar space, I wouldn't have known. I would have never gotten to this recollection and this revelation, and that shit just really touched me. And so this morning I got up and I wrote a letter. I wrote a petition forgiving this person again and releasing that heavy load of, I'm not hurt by what this person did to me anymore, but I am hurt by the damage that it caused over the livelihood of my life, of my sleep, of my safety, you know? And that shit had to go. What? That shit had to go. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been using this, and I don't even know you put on your lips, but I've been using this like new sunscreen stuff, and it's like kind of thick a little bit, but I be trying to protect myself, and I think some got on my lip, and it be causing it to cake up some. You can't be having that. But yes, that's the story time. That's the revelation that I just pieced together, the puzzle of this lesson I needed to learn and that shadow work I had to do. So I really want you to consider yourself and whatever it is the fuck that you need to do for you. Please consider that. Please consider it, because you've already been considering what everybody the hell else wants, but is that working for you? Do you feel happy? Do you feel seen? Do you feel heard? Do you feel loved? Don't be afraid to do what you need to do for you. Don't be afraid to sit in your truth and to follow the nuggets, the gems that your angels, your guides, your guardians, your ancestors, they leave for you. And that's another thing. I had this necklace that I made from my nana that contained some of her ashes. And I had that on. I put that specifically on me when I went to Philly, but also when I went for my walk yesterday. Because I'm always talking to Nana. She's the truth, okay? So, remember, a seed can't grow unless you water it. So get your ass up and bless up. I love you, and I hope you have an amazing day. I hope that you stay smiling, and I hope that you really consider what matters to you. Do whatever it is that you need to do for you. I love you. Bye.